Hello there. Read the social media comments. British patience with their politicians is now threadbare thin, dangerously thin, but our succession of champagne socialist leaders, within which I include the modern Tories, insist on following their UK-destroying policies. The London rally on the 26th of October cannot come soon enough. We came close to widespread tragedy after the Southport incident, something that could have been defused day one by the establishment being open and honest with us. But no, secrecy was the order of the day, so our sausage saviour Keir Starmer threw the courts at us under the guise of jailing the far right. But be in no doubt, this scenario would have been followed exactly had the Tories still been in power. Because the system of policies was put in place by them, but taken advantage of by Starmer's Labour. And all we get now is a drip, drip, drip of sleaze from Westminster, whoever is in the seat. From Sue Gray, to clothes for number 10 passes, to free holiday accommodation for our political masters, to the latest revelation about a mansion for the PM's son to study in quiet exclusivity for his exams for a few weeks. In an 18 million quid penthouse pile in Covent Garden, while the PM happily slaps VAT on independent school fees for kids with disabilities and special needs. But on this last one, I will say I do hope this is the full and honest answer. Can you imagine a loving father dragging their offspring into a web of political misinformation? Or worse? And Labour caving into the unions at every turn, something that has only just started. And while they party and wallow in large salary increases and freebies, the winter fuel allowance is stripped from deserving pensioners. That's champagne socialist equality for you. And yes, I know the Labour conference voted against that cut. But that's all they'll do about it. Even though Starmer has doubled down and said his government will definitely scrap it for millions of pensioners. But hey, the conference-going champagne socialists will go back to their warm homes, happy that they voted against their own government in a show, yes, show, of dissent. And then there's our now almost fully developed two-tier society, of which this political sleaze, with no resignations by the way, is a significant part. Didn't any one of them stop to think about how sleazy their actions were? Or were they too busy seizing the opportunity for a few freebies, while they thought no one was paying any attention? And all the rest of us have is a two-tier society that now covers almost every aspect of our lives, especially in the justice system and its courts, and it becomes ever more stark by the day. How on earth is the average voter Joe meant to have any faith in such a rotten system? And how many of those voters are asking themselves that exact same question? As I said, just check out social media. When they vote, they expect fairness and equality, as well as a government that will respect their wishes on issues like immigration, for example. But once in power, up goes the drawbridge and down come the diktats from the castle keep. No wonder the British public feels like it lives in a pressure cooker. No wonder so many of them are planning to go to London on the 26th of October to join a certain Mr. T in London, someone who has felt the brunt of the state's ire for us on a number of occasions. Let's repay that by being there with him. But not just that, please sign the pledge at thepledge.org.uk. So sending a clear message to the establishment that you are at the end of your patience where these self-obsessed freeloaders are concerned. Freeloaders on both cheeks of the same establishment. And Labour has been in power for less than 3 months. You may have thought that for all the furore over things like Cakegate by Keir Mr. Rule Starmer, that Labour would be squeaky clean. Well, no, it appears that far from planning to take the moral high ground, they were just taking lessons from the Tories in how to get away with it. Oh, and as an aside, that sausage slip of Starmer's. Funny how that's all his speech will be remembered for, isn't it? Were I a cynic, I might be drawn by the argument that it was not a slip, but a rehearsed distractor from the rest of the contents of his speech. A speech that lays out the ground for an unfolding horror of total government control over our lives. But that can't possibly be true, can it? And the only people happy with this overbearing Labour administration will be the unions and the woke and the anti-Semites. And for all the talk about economic growth and the grown-ups being back in the room, all we have is a set of policies from the Chancellor Rachel Reeves looking set to gum up the wheels of what is left of our economy. Ed Miliband and his net zero push to switch the lights out permanently. And as far as I can see, he has absolutely no clue how we can achieve net zero. While the Foreign Secretary, David Lammy, wanders about the globe causing diplomatic mayhem. One of his latest is to try and make the Ukraine war all about his experience of being a member of the ethnic minority in the UK. And Yvette Cooper, the Home Secretary, appears to be lining up for the longest punt into the long grass in history, where dealing with the hot potato issue of illegal immigration is concerned. Nothing will change. And talk of integration there is none. And Starmer said in his speech that he wants to return this great nation to the service of working people. But judging by his attack on pensioners, not when they retire and stop working. Logan's Run, anyone? And as far as I can see, the only ambition a growing band of young aspiring people will have is to join the ranks of self-serving politicians with their hands out for freebies and noses stuck firmly in the Treasury trough. Because there'll be precious little to be had in the private sector after Rachel Reeves has finished taxing business into the ground and the Deputy PM Angela Rayner has tied businesses up in legal knots that turn them into non-profit arms of the social services. In simple terms, it looks like the Labour plan is to tax and regulate our way to prosperity and growth using the most expensive energy on the planet. Please tell me I'm wrong, please. Upshot, sign the pledge and be in London on the 26th of October and bring your brolly just in case. Like, subscribe and comment below and thank you for watching.